Hello everybody, welcome to the Tiger Tales with your host, me, Tai Tiger. Here we read audio of my fan fiction, and today's video is Power Rangers The Future Foundation. Chapter 1, A New Age is Upon Us. Dante sat on a bus as it strolled through town. The clouds rolled overhead, their grey tinge threatened rain. Dante sighed with relief that the school year had finally finished, and summer was right around the corner. Dante had spent his final day in school like a normal day, lessons that rolled into lessons. But that was over now. 6 weeks of summer sun, beaches, and hardcore training was right there for him. That was the only thing that got him through the day, was training. The only time that Dante could escape from the world, his parents, and school. When he was confined in the four walls of the dojo, Dante was at peace. Dante watched the street roll by, and sighed once again. The bus came to a stop, and Dante hopped off the bus. He walked up to the long, calm path. Trees grew overhead. Dante finally reached the steps, the huge amount of steps. He made the climb, and finally got to the entrance. The huge words hung above the door. Park Dojo. Dante walked in and called for his sensei. "Hey Adam," he called, but only silence responded. "Sensei," he called again. Dante walked through the dojo and entered Adam's office, expecting to find him there, but Jet had no luck. The office was empty. Dante checked his table. He checked the mail. He checked the phone book. There was no sign of Adam's whereabouts. That's when Dante noticed the cabinet open. The cabinet that usually stayed locked, and was forbidden to anyone other than Adam. Dante took a closer look to see what had happened. The lock had been damaged by something more than a blade or a bullet. Something powerful enough to break the lock. Dante swallowed hard as he opened the cabinet, and that's when he saw it. The small hand-sized morpher, holding the Mastodon power coin. Dante picked up the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger morpher. "Why did Adam hide this in here?" Dante whispered. Then a more daunting question followed. And why was someone trying to break it in here to get it? A sudden crash came from the kitchen. He put the morpher in his pocket and ran towards the noise. There he found a few grey monsters, looking for something. "Are they putties?" Dante whispered. He was not fazed by the sight of the evil henchmen. The world had become used to Power Rangers and the monsters they thought, but putties had been not seen for several years now. Dante was confused, unsure of what to do. He knew that Adam would take a stand, and that became his motivation. Dante took a stance in the kitchen doorway. "Hey," he called out. All the putties turned to face him, and then they charged in the act of attack. Dante took his stance and blocked the first one. He used his strength to push back the putty. He then kicked the second one, but the third and the fourth one overpowered him, pushing him out of the door, landing onto the main floor of the dojo. The putty stumbled out of the kitchen and all ran towards him. Dante stood up as quick as he could and glanced around to find something to grab. He grabbed onto a wooden training sword and took a stance. Confusion swirled in his brain. He'd never fought anything that wasn't human before. He swung the sword and hit one of the putties across the chest, but it didn't seem fazed. "God damn it, why am I always getting myself into trouble?" Dante whispered. "Trouble? Yes. But you have a mind for it," a voice called out. Adam felt something behind him, a presence, a strong presence. Then suddenly, everything went black, and Dante was in front of a floating knight. Floating before him, the knight was damaged, badly damaged. "Dante," the voice said. Who are you?" he asked. Shock had completely taken over. "I am one of the morphing masters, and we are in need of your help, young apprentice," the master said, his face slow and pained, as Dante could see parts of his face through the breaking of the armor. He could see many wounds through the dents. Something oozed from his chest, something that could possibly be blood. Dante went back to the voice. But why do you need me for? I'm a nobody. I can't help you," Dante gasped. "There is a new threat. powerful and unpredictable. It is old. It is new. And we never saw it coming. We need you, Dante, Adam's apprentice, to take his mantle and help us defeat the new threat, the master explained. But how do I do that? Why don't you ask another ranger? Adam's got another team, right? He snapped at the floating master. Take ease, apprentice. You're not alone here. There are others like you. Find them. They will aid you in your quest. Make your own team. For if you do not succeed, we will all perish. And not just Earth. The entire universe is at stake here, the master told him. Dante went to argue once more, but the master raised his hand to silence him. You have our permission. Now do not let yourself doubt be your enemy, the master said firmly. Then, within a blink of an eye, Dante was stood there once again in the dojo facing the 4 putties. He held his sword across his arm, blocking an attack. He then retaliated the attack, but the putty jumped backwards, knocking Dante falling forward. The putty then jumped back to his feet, quickly swinging for Dante. Damn it, Dante grunted. Suddenly, the morpher started glowing in his pocket. Do not let yourself doubt be your enemy, the master's words echoed in his head. All 4 putties started to circle around Dante, easing up to him, getting ready to attack once again, all 4 putties on edge. One of the putties swung for Dante, but Dante lunged to one side, dodging the attack. Dante took a big, long, deep breath. Okay, let's do this, Dante growled. Determination had settled in. He dared not feel scared. He pulled out the morpher. The Mastodon power coin shined to the light. Dante extended the handle and held it properly in front of him. He felt the surge go through him, a rush of power. Dante held out the morpher. It's morphin' time, Dante called out. Mastodon, he said. The morpher extended. He didn't even know what he was doing. His body just did it. His voice just came out of his mouth, like it was in control of itself. The morpher, as it opened, the coin glowed. A sudden light exploded, and within a flash, Dante stood there, now all in black. He stood there, full of new power that he'd never felt before. He stood there as the Black Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Whoa, I'm a freaking Power Ranger. Sensei, you've been holding out on me, man, he yelled in shock. His attention fell upon the 4 putties, who had now quickly become more scared, jumping around more, becoming more defensive. Dante once took his stance. Come on then, he muttered. He then jumped up and kicked one of the putties. This time, the putty went flying across the room. He grabbed the second one, punching in the chest several times before throwing it at the wall. He then moved quickly onto the third. He swept his foot across the floor, tripping the third one over. He rolled forward and colliding his heel to the fallen putty's chest. Dante then jumped back onto his feet, blocking an incoming attack from the 4th putty. He threw his entire body weight into the putty, staggering it. Then he threw a few punches, then a final spin kick to the 4th putty, knocking it to the floor. He stood there waiting for the 4 putties to get back up, but they melted into a purple light and were gone without a trace. Dante stood there, victorious, breath rapid. His ranger suit disappeared, leaving him in his usual clothes once again. He stood there shocked, confused. He was a Power Ranger. He was the Mighty Morphin Black Ranger. He was Adam's replacement. That's when it hit him. Adam was still missing. Dante checked to find the morpher resting in his pocket. He sighed with relief. He walked back into the office and walked up to the computer. He logged in and started going through the folder. There, he found a folder titled Future Foundation. He clicked on it. Several videos appeared. One of them labelled Dante. He clicked on it to find video footage of Dante training, with some of Dante's details on screen. His birthday, his address, his skill set, his flaws, all of it there on screen. Adam was making a team of rangers. That Master Knight guy was right, Dante whispered. "Where are you, Adam?" he said with a sigh. He looked through the folder and started writing a few people's names down with their numbers next to them. Dante was going to find the other rangers that the master was mentioned. The next team of rangers. They wouldn't be a usual team. They would be misplaced. They would be misfits. Dante pulled out his phone and dialed a number and held the phone to his ear. The phone rang and rang. And finally, someone answered. "Hey," Dante said. "I need your help."